What is going on, my Super Sandwiches? Rhymestyle here, and today I'm joined by Dragon Ball Nations and Kwaman, and today we're going to be discussing the second chapter of Fukkatsu no F, The Resurrection of Frieza, the upcoming Dragon Ball Z movie that's coming out next month. And I will tell you right now,
spoilers.
There's going to be spoilers, so if you want nothing spoiled, if you want to know absolutely nothing about this movie, then we would suggest skipping this video. But we are going to kind of keep the spoilers to the minimum. We're just going to kind of talk about what sort of happens in Chapter 2. And by sort of happens, I mean basically the plot. So we're going to assume everybody that's watching this right now is cool with the spoilers. Yeah? Kwaman? Dragon Ball Nation? We good?
Yeah.
Yeah? All right, here we go. So the second chapter of Dragon Ball Nation. The second chapter of Fukkatsu no F came out. And it revealed a couple of things that we're going to be discussing. So the first thing it revealed was... it looks like Whis is obviously training Goku and Vegeta, but there's a couple questions that were thrown out because, number one, it seems that they were training in preparation for this fight, because when Frieza shows up on Earth, he basically says, "Where's Goku?" And it's like, oh no, he's not done with his training yet. So it's like, I don't know if this is a translation that's supposed to say, oh, he's actually out training, or no, you know, he's not done with his training yet, he'll be back here soon. The other thing I want to point out that Goten and Trunks are most likely, and Majin Buu are most likely not going to be in this movie, because when Gohan is asked about Goten and Trunks, he responds with, "Oh, I didn't want to tell Goten and Trunks that this was happening, so you know we don't want them getting in the way." And the other thing is the same thing with Majin Buu. Apparently, Majin Buu falls asleep. But then Kwaman pointed out something really, really interesting about this, and he basically talked about the whole connection to the Namek Saga. So Kwaman, you want to kind of jump into your theory there that this is kind of like connected to the Frieza Saga?
Yes, and I'll just start off by saying, unfortunately, it does really seem like Goten and Trunks are not going to be in it. And I'm not going to lie, it's a little bit of a bummer, because I feel like they could have been serious additions, because obviously Trunks is the person who killed him, so it would have been nice to see how Frieza looks at a person who killed him, and then also Goten, who resembles Goku a lot. But what I think this is trying to do is, I think this is trying to include all of the characters that have been primarily involved with Frieza and fighting against Frieza prior. For example, even though Tien wasn't actually in the Frieza fight, he was involved with the Saiyan fight, which was somewhat connected to Frieza as a whole, because they obviously work for Frieza's empire. And at the same time, Tien and Yamcha, well, I'm sorry, Yamcha's not here. Tien was also there when, you know, Frieza invaded Earth with King Cole, so at least they got a chance to, you know, take a glance at Frieza. So I think that they're trying to only have the characters that were involved, with the exception of obviously Master Roshi, and I think he's just there primarily for comic effect, and I think that's why they didn't put Goten and Trunks. But I just really feel it's such a bummer that it seems like they're not going to be in the movie. And I also feel it kind of weird, because I mean, even if they don't want to come to assist, they can sense energy, and if they sense people struggling, I can't see how Goten and Trunks don't at least try to come and help.
Right. And before, you know, we keep talking about this is just our theory and our idea. Like, we don't know if Goten and Trunks will show up in the movie later, as Kwaman said. Maybe they might sense Frieza later and just pop in. But this is just based on what we read in Chapter 2, so I don't know. But it's really fun. It's really like freaking interesting, because if you read the second chapter, Goku is out, like, gone. He's gone doing something, and that's kind of what happened in the Frieza Saga as well. He was, you know, basically healing, and everybody was kind of left to fight against Frieza during the last couple hours of Namek being around before it blew up, and then, you know, basically the end of the Frieza Saga happened. But same thing's happening here. It's like Frieza shows up, and then basically all like the non-real major characters have to face off against them and kind of stay alive while they're waiting for Goku. Except for the opposite happens this time. I mean, we've seen Frieza beat down Vegeta, and then Goku kind of shows up. He's a hero. But like what we saw from the third trailer, the opposite happens. We see Goku get beat down, and then Vegeta kind of shows up like, all right, you know what, I'm going to take over. So I think this further kind of makes me believe that this is the second chance at the Frieza Saga, but from the Vegeta side. Like, Vegeta's actually going to be the one who's going to get revenge, doing whatever it takes to win, because I still think he's going to go Super Saiyan God. But something else I want to point out is if we look at the training with Whis, it looks like they had just started training with him, because as they're, you know, beginning the fight with Whis is kind of like just, you know, he's a joke. Like, he's making this entire fight a joke. Like, he is taking them on like it's nothing, and he's basically telling what their flaws are, and they literally look like they just are starting up with the training. And the other thing I want to point out is Beerus is still asleep, because we see him kind of attacking them by accident because he's asleep and sleepwalking. And he, when he went to sleep in the Battle Gods movie, he says he was going to take a nap for 3 years. So this is somewhere like maybe in the early stages of that 3-year period. Oh.
Well, Well, the whole thing about Whis training with them, I was kind of under the impression, and it's a bit of a stretch, I know a lot of people probably won't agree with me with what I was thinking, but I thought that Goku, and as well as Vegeta, since they were, in the same kind of league in this movie, it makes it seem, I was assuming that Goku would have surpassed Whis because he's always surpassed his teachers, even though Whis is incredibly powerful, but it looks like that's not the case from what we're seeing, but I do still hope he's at least surpassing Beerus in that regard.
I want to point something about Whis. We kind of also got a little bit more information on who he is as a character in terms of power. We just know that he's stronger than Beerus, but we never get a reveal of how strong he is, what kind of attacks he has. I mean, we saw his moves in Battle Z and in Xenoverse, but that really doesn't reveal anything outside the fact that those attacks could have been just made up for the purpose of those games. In the second chapter of this manga, they revealed that Whis actually has the ability to time travel. And the reason why he has that power is whenever Beerus is asleep, he tends to sleepwalk a lot and kind of destroy stuff, which is displayed in the manga where he accidentally almost kills Goku and Vegeta by sleepwalking and blowing them up. And that's when Whis reveals that he can actually time travel for cases of that, where that accident happens, so he can kind of go back in time and fix it before reality actually strikes. So he has short-term time traveling as a power. So it's like that also brings up the question is he a god? Because I know a lot of people think he's a god, but it's kind of up in the air because it was never really confirmed if Whis is considered a god. He's just kind of like the person that watches. He's like the keeper. He's like the kami of Beerus's, I guess, role in the movie.
Exactly. Yeah, I was telling Kwame the other day that I always found Whis as an overseer of the universe in a way. That's what I looked at.
Yeah. Ooh, that's actually a really good theory. I like that. So, what do you guys like expectations from this movie off of that second chapter? That's kind of a tough question because that second chapter doesn't really tell us anything. It basically puts on paper what we know happens. Whis trains with Goku and Vegeta. Frieza's army shows up, and then all it really kind of shows to us is it further confirms that this is kind of like a homage to the Frieza saga. It's kind of like part 2 to it because it only has those characters in it, which is funny because I remember when I first saw that poster that they revealed a couple months ago, it was like, why are Goten and Trunks not on there? Why is Majin Buu not on there? Why is this why are all the people on this poster the ones who were in the Frieza saga? Because we even saw Krillin had the armor on. Did he have the armor on? I think he does. He had the armor on in the poster. I don't remember who it did. I just remember I just saw the poster. I was like, wow, this is so much like the Frieza saga that I feel like that's where they're going with this. But what are you guys' thoughts? What are your expectations? Do you think anyone's going to die? How is this going to lead into the third chapter, I guess?
Well, to be completely honest with you, Dino, honestly, the only thing this extra chapter did absolutely confirm, almost without a doubt, is that Goku and, well, maybe not Vegeta because he seems like he might go through that transformation, but it seems like Beerus and Whis are still light years above Goku and Vegeta themselves. Yep. And I think that because of that, I think the chances of Frieza surpassing Beerus, which a lot of people were, suspecting, I don't think that we're gonna see that.
I actually agree with that, and I'm glad you pointed that out. And it just further makes you think that if Beerus gets confronted by Frieza, I think he's just gonna be neutral. They're the neutral party in this, because it's yeah, whatever, Unless, but then again, Beerus still hates Frieza, so that's also that factor. What if Beerus is the one who kills Frieza? Would people be mad if Beerus is the one who
anticlimactic ending.
Yeah, it's this epic fight, and then Beerus is alright, I'm bored, and just flicks him and he dies. I mean, it's Toriyama. He's been doing a lot of unexpected things, so who knows? That could easily happen, so I don't know.
I still think they'll have they have to have some sort of confrontation in the movie.
Ooh,
they definitely have to.
Actually, I want to point something out. In the most recent Jump release, magazine, they revealed that, well, I don't know if this is a wrong translation or what, but they revealed that Frieza actually has a new attack as well in Zenkai Battle Royale. I believe that's what it was. I don't remember. I remember reading something about Frieza's new attack. So it looks like Frieza might have a new attack too to show off, which is something that a lot of people didn't really expect. But then again, if we're looking at the whole Frieza thing, I just thought about something. What if Frieza actually does kind of blow up the Earth? Because I mean, if this is a homage to the Frieza saga and they're trying to kind of recreate a lot of that, I mean, he does do that to Namek.
Well, Dino, if you remember from the trailer, There was actually like a scene. A lot of people speculated it was just for effect, but there was that last scene where you actually see that planet exploding at the very end of the trailer, which, brings up a lot of points. But honestly, though, like the way I look at this, I have a question for you, Mr. Rhymestyle.
Okay.
How do you think this new chapter, or as a whole, this film will affect Xenoverse as a whole? Now that that's obviously a brand new game, do you think this can affect it in a lot of ways, or you don't see anything happening?
I mean, in terms of what?
In terms of gameplay.
I don't know. I mean, I know when I was at Bandai Namco a couple months ago, back in January, I asked them if they would, think about possibly visiting the Fukkatsu no F series or movie as part of DLC or something. They said maybe, but it's not, it wasn't a priority. So, who knows? I mean, Frieza is going to be in the upcoming Dragon Ball Z Super Butoden game on the 3DS. He's also going to be in Zenkai Battle Royale when the movie comes out on the 18th of April. So there's always that possibility. And also, we get into movie clothes for your custom created characters of Goku in Xenoverse as well. So it's like there is a small possibility that we might get like a Frieza chapter or something.
Like a parallel quest, maybe?
Not even just a parallel quest, because from how they've been doing this is they always release like a main campaign, which is kind of like the timeline stuff, and then they have the parallel quest as bonus stuff. There's a possibility, but I don't want to go deeper into that just because I don't know what their plans are, and they just seem to be more focused on putting out the current DLC. So if there is DLC, we probably won't even see it for maybe until the summer.
Okay.
But I don't know. I mean, I think it's pretty interesting that this chapter, the second chapter, it didn't really tell us anything, but it just kind of further proves that this is again, this is kind of trying to recreate the whole Namek saga. There's a good possibility we want to see Majin Buu or Goten and Trunks in it. Like, it just makes me very curious to see what we can expect in the third chapter. I'm actually going to see the movie on the 11th of April in LA when it premieres, so I'm actually excited about that. So I will definitely have some content and discussions around based on what I see coming out sometime next month. So yeah.
Yeah, unfortunately, since I'm over here in Antarctica, I'm actually going to have to wait for the whole thing to come out completely, as a whole. So I can't see it in the movies. But, you know what? I got to be patient.
Yeah.
Same thing happened with Battle of Gods.
Yeah. With that said, at least we get a lot sooner than later. So do you guys have any final words before we end this video?
No, all I basically got to say is it's a little bit of a bummer that Goten and Trunks might not be in it, but you still made a good point, they still might join at some point, because I think they want to know that we at least want to see them in the movie, you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
But that's a slight bummer. I was expecting a lot more based off of that in-depth video we did, but you know what, I think it's still going to be a great film, and I don't think it's going to take away from the greatness.
Yeah. What I want to know is to those watching this video, what are your thoughts? Like, what are your thoughts on how important Goten and Trunks will be to this movie? Like, because I know a lot of people love those two characters, but like, how important are they? Like, does that make or break the movie for you? So let us know in the comment section below. But Dragon Ball Nation, you got any more? Anything else to say?
Yeah, I think that Goten and Trunks will definitely appear in the movie. I mean, it's kind of implied from here they won't have a major role or any sort of role really in the beginning of the film, but later in the film they might jump in. This is really just basing off of what they're saying in the chapter is really just talking about the beginning of the film in a way. But I definitely think it'd be almost impossible for them not to appear in the film whatsoever. But I think they might jump in at some point later on.
All right, so we want to hear from you guys now. So to those watching, let us know in the comment section below your thoughts on the second chapter, predictions for chapter 3 maybe, and we'll see what kind of discussions it can spark. Of course, don't forget to hit that like button right in the face. And check out both Dragon Ball Nation and Kwame in the description below. So, yeah. Kwame, go ahead and take us out.
Oh, my pleasure, Dino. Please remember 3 things to do. Please remember to rate, comment, and subscribe. And I lied because I want you to have a great day, guys.